Jai students, welcome back. Now let us begin. As in our previous class, we have seen that William O. Douglas, that who was very keen to learn swimming, and he decided to learn swimming in YMCA pool. And initially, that since he was quite thin, quite unhealthy, did not want to show his legs, but he overcame his pride and finally decided to learn swimming. And when he decided to learn swimming, and he went to YMCA pool, then what happened we will learn in today's class. Let us see. Let me share the story first. Now see children, from the second paragraph we are going to begin today. And naked into the show, my skinny legs, and but I subdued, means he overcame his pride and did it, means decided to go with his skinny legs into the water, into the swimming pool. Then from the beginning, however, I had an aversion to the water when I was in it. And now he says that from the beginning, right from the beginning, that he had an aversion means that dislike, hatred, means he had the dislike to the water when I was in it. Whenever he was going into the water, he did not like to go into the water, and it happened since beginning. He is saying that from the beginning that happened. Why from the beginning it happened? Let us know. This started, now he is telling that why from the beginning he had the aversion of water, he had the disliking for water, because this started when I was 3 or 4 years old. Now he tells that while he was 3 or 4 years old, and father took me to the beach in California. Once when he was 3 or 4 years old, his father took him to the California beach. And you know that California means beach, that people go to the beach to enjoy the water waves, enjoy paddling. So his father also took him to the California beach, and he and I stood together in the surf. And now he recalls that he was standing into the surf, into the water of the sea, along with his father, and I hung on to him, means he kept on holding his hand, yet the waves knocked me down and swept over me. And even then the waves, means sea waves, came and hit him, knocked him down, he fell down and swept over me, and he was completely covered under water. Means, as we know that it is the nature of the sea waves, that it comes for a while and then it goes away, and for amusement that people go to paddle into the water on the beach. Father knew it, but since William O. Douglas, who was just 3 to 4 years old, he was not aware about the nature of the waves. So he was standing holding the hands of his father, but even then the waves hit him, knocked him down, and he was completely covered under water. I was buried in water, he was completely buried in water, covered under water. So my breath was gone. Now his breath was gone, means since he was a child, he felt suffocating for some while, and I was frightened, and that's why naturally he was a boy, he was just a child, so he was frightened. Father laughed, but there was a terror in my heart at the overpowering force of the waves. Means here he says that he was frightened, but father laughed. But father was laughing because he was enjoying. He knew the nature of the waves, but William Douglas, the narrator, was unaware of it because he was a child. So he was frightened, he was terrified because he felt suffocation. But there was a terror in my heart at the overpowering force of the waves, and from that time onwards, that the terror of water started, and he felt the terror of water in his heart at the over because of the overpowering force of the waves. My introduction to the YMCA swimming pool revived unpleasant memories and stirred childish fear, and that was the childish fear when that he experienced in his childhood. So when that he my introduction to YMCA pool, when he was introduced into the YMCA pool, when he entered into the YMCA pool, though he was 10 or 11-year-old, the pool revived swimming pool revived unpleasant memories, that incident which took place with him, which happened with him in his childhood, that he recalled, and stirred childish fear, and that it aroused childish fear in the narrator. Means when he entered that, first of all he recalled his childish fear and he started fighting, and that's why that he says that since childhood that he had the aversion of water. But in a little while I gathered confidence, but in a little while that he got the confidence, and I paddled with my new water wings, watching the other boys and trying to learn by apping them. And then but he got the confidence, regained his confidence, and paddled with my new water wings, since he had kept water wings with him. So with the help of those water wings he tried to paddle, he tried to swim, watching the other boys and trying to learn by aping them, because he watched some other boys were also there. He saw them, that how they were paddling, how they were swimming. Then means he tried to imitate them and started swimming. And I did this 2 or 3 times on different days, and was just beginning to feel at ease in the water when the misadventure happened. And then further he says that I did this too, means he did that, means he tried to learn to swim for 2 or 3 times on different days, and was beginning to ease, means, and after doing some practice that he started feeling easy in water. And when that misadventure happened, and he remembers, he says that when he started to feel ease at in the water, he started getting control over the over his fear in the water. But then that misadventure happened with him. Now remember the student, what is this misadventure? Very important question. What is misadventure that took place, that happened with the narrator, with the Douglas? This question this question has been asked in board examination, and this is always important. So keep this in your mind, that what is that misadventure. Now let us know that what is that misadventure which happened with the narrator. I went to the pool when no one else was there. Now he says that he describes that one day what happened when there was no one else there at the pool. So he went That day when he went there to the pool to learn swimming, so he was alone because there was no one else there. The place was quiet. It was naturally when there was no one, so place was absolutely quite peaceful. The water was still, and the tiled bottom was as white and clean as bathtub. So the water was still, there was a still water, and the tiled bottom means bottom of the YMCA pool was tiled like the bathtub because it was meant for swimming. So it was very peaceful atmosphere, and the water was also still. So I was timid about going in alone. So I sat on the side of the pool to wait for others. I was timid means he describes that he did not want because he was afraid to go into the water alone because there was no one else. So he decided to wait for others. I sat on the side of the pool to wait for others. He decided not to enter into the water alone, and he decided to wait for others to come. Then let us see what happened. I had not been there long when in came a big bruiser of a boy. Big bruiser means that a muscular boy that who was a strong grappling muscles, a bruiser, a bully boy. So I had not been there long while he did not wait for the longer period of time when in came a big boy. Then he saw, that means a big boy, a big bruiser of a boy, a big bully boy came there, probably 18 years old. Now he was probably 18 years old, and he had thick hair on his chest. He was a beautiful physical specimen with legs and arms that showed rippling muscles. Means he was a muscular boy. He was a muscular boy. He had a beautiful physical specimen. He was a beautiful model of good physique, rippling physique, and with legs and arms that showed rippling muscles. Means he was a very healthy and strong boy. He yelled, "Hi, Skinny, how would you like to be ducked?" Now that he called him, rather he teased him calling Skinny because he had a skinny legs. He was a thin person. So he called the narrator, "Hi, Skinny," by teasing him, and said that how would you like to be ducked? Means would you like to be dive into the water? With that, he picked me up and tossed me into the deep end. And now he remembers that misadventure, that how misadventure took place. And then he says that by calling him is Skinny, all of a sudden he picked me up. He took him up and tossed me, means, and threw him into the deep end. And the deep end means it was 9 feet deep. The other part, he threw him to the other end of the pool, which was 9 feet deep. I landed in a sitting position. Now he says that how when he was thrown it, he did not know till then that he did not know swimming properly. So when he was thrown there in the water, he landed in a sitting position. He started going down into the pool in a sitting position, and he swallowed water. He took water and went at once to the bottom, and immediately he reached to the bottom of the pool. I was frightened naturally because he did not know. All of a sudden he was thrown into the deepest part of the pool, and he did not know swimming, so naturally he was frightened. He was terrified, but not yet frightened out of my wits. Though he was frightened, but he was not out of wits. Still, that he had the senses, that his, the mind was, uh, running properly. Means he was quite conscious that he was thrown and he was going down into the pool. On the way down, I planned, when my feet hit the bottom, I would make a big jump. Now remember, students, when if you will have to write the character sketch of the narrator William O. Douglas, which is one of the most important questions, then you also have to remember, though he was just 11 or 10 or 11-year old, but he was intelligent. That proves that he was intelligent. Though all of a sudden he was thrown into the water and he was going down, he did not know swimming. Even then he remember that how to come out of the water. Means while he was going down, at that time he made a plan what to do, means how he will be able to come out from the water. And now further he says that when my feet hit the bottom, I would make a big jump, come to the surface, lie flat on it and paddle to the edge of the pool. Now he remembers that when his feet hit the bottom, when he will reach the bottom of the pool and his feet will touch the bottom, he would make a big jump from there. He would hit the bottom very hard and would like to jump, would like to come up very quickly on the surface, come to the surface and lie flat. When he comes onto the surface, he will lie flat on the surface and then he will paddle, means he will try to swim to come to the edge of the pool. Means it was his plan. Means at that time generally that people lose his senses, but he was intelligent enough to learn to make a plan in that short period of time, that what to do, means how he will be able to come up on the surface. Then it seemed a long way down, but while that he was going down under the water, he did not reach quickly, rather it took him time. It seemed a long way, means he felt that he was going to cover the long distance under water. Those 9 feet, now this is important, student, please remember it, that those 9 feet were more like 90. Means though it was just 9 feet deep, yet he felt like 90 because he was going down under the water very slowly and he was feeling suffocation also. He couldn't breathe properly, and when we feel suffocation, then means even very little time seems to be big. Same thing was happening with him. And before I touched bottom, my lungs were ready to burst. Now he remembers. Now this is important, that what kind of panic that he felt under water. This description is very important. Keep in your mind that this is an autobiographical episode. He experienced, means he is sharing his own experience, what he felt while he was drowning in the swimming pool. So this description is very important. Just keep focus on it. And he says further that before I touched bottom, my lungs were ready to burst. Means he was feeling pain in his lungs because he had taken water, and it seems that it was ready to burst, means that his lungs will be burst. But when my feet hit bottom, I summoned all my strength and made what I thought was a great spring upwards. But what happened? But when my feet hit, when he touched the bottom of the pool, that he summoned, means he gathered all his strength, and made what I thought was a great spring upwards. And then that what he thought, what he planned, what was his strategy, he wanted to execute it. So he just when he touched the bottom, means he tried to hit it very hard, and thought that he will be able to jump upwards very quickly. I imagined I would bob to the surface like a cork. And now he thought, he imagined that he thought that he would be able to bob to, means he would be able to come up to the surface like a cork. You know, like a cork, when we throw a cork underwater, means it does not go inside, rather quickly it comes on the surface. So he thought that like a cork, he will also be able to come up on the surface very quickly. Instead, I came up slowly, but he remembers that did not happen. Rather, he came up on the surface very slowly. I opened my eyes and saw nothing. And now that he says that when he came slowly on the surface, he opened his eyes, but while he was coming, he opened his eyes, but he could not see anything except water. He could not see anything except water, because he was underwater. And water, and now that what kind of feeling he had at that time, he describes here. He says that water that had dirty yellow tinge, color. Tinge, color. Means he had a dirty yellow color. He could see that water had a dirty yellow color. And I grew panicky, means he became panic. He became terrified. And I reached up as if to grab a rope, and my hands clutched only at water. And then because he wanted to be saved, and that's why, means he was trying to do all the efforts to save himself, he reached up as if to grab a rope. When he reached on the surface, he tried to catch something like a rope. He tried to grab, he tried to catch a rope so that he could save himself. And my hands clutched only at water. But since he was in the water, that he tried to catch rope, but he caught only water, and water cannot be caught, we all know. And I was suffocating, and since he was underwater, he was suffocating. He was feeling difficult to breathe. I tried to yell, means he tried to cry for help, but no sound came out. But if means it is quite natural that in underwater, if you will try to speak up, that the sound does not travel in water as it travels in the air. So that's why he says that he tried to yell, but no sound came out. He tried to cry for the help, but his sound did not come out of water. And then my eyes and nose came out of the water, but not my mouth. And then finally his eyes and nose came out of water, but not my mouth. But still his mouth was under water. This he had experienced the first time when he was coming on the surface from the bottom of the water. So he had given, in this way that we have seen, that he has given a vivid experience, alive, very lively. He is describing very lively all his experiences under water. And now what happened after that? I flailed at the surface of the water. Now he says that he was lying flat on the surface of the water when he came up, and swallowed and choked, and he swallowed water when he came up on the surface, that he took water and his throat was choked. I tried to bring my legs up, but they hung as dead weights. And now that he also described that he tried to bring up his legs. He tried to bring his legs up, but they hung as dead weights, but they did not move. Means his legs, seems to be very heavy and paralyzed and rigid. It became very hard and it became paralyzed, means he was unable to move even his legs under water. A great force was pulling me under, and then it seems that there was a great force underwater which was pulling him once again underwater. And I screamed, means I cried, but only the water heard me. He cried once again for help, but nothing happened. Nobody listened, as that only water heard me, means it was in vain. I had started on the long journey back to the bottom of the pool. Then once again I had started, means he started his long journey back to the bottom of the pool. Long journey because once again he was feeling suffocation, and when second time he started going down under the water, then means he started going down very slowly. It was a long, that's why that he says that it was a long journey for him to go to the bottom of the pool once again. In this way that he presents a vivid experiences of his drowning into the water. And that's all for today, children. I'm going to end today's class here, but you can see if there is any question related to it, like that. Here you can see that what is the misadventure that William Douglas speaks about. Now you can understand what was the misadventure when he was thrown into the water and he was drowning. That is, means you have to describe in your own words. What were the series of emotions and fears that Douglas experienced when he was thrown into the pool? What plans did he make to come to the surface? All these things we had studied just now, and answer of this question you can easily get from the paragraphs which had been explained today. And remember, this first question is important one. The second question, this question is divided into two parts, and this can also be asked as long answer type questions, because whatever he experienced, what plans did, means fears that Douglas experienced, means he is describing, he has given a vivid description of his experience of drowning, so that you can describe in detail also. That's all for today, student. And now that we will remaining part of the story we will study next day. Thank you and have a nice day.